This morning I'm going to show you how to make a mountain man breakfast in a Dutch oven. The mountain man breakfast is a favorite among our scouts on camping trips, and so we decided we were going to make one on our raft trip. But once we got on the river, we discovered that our camping time was kind of limited, and the river time, the float part, was actually much more intense than we expected. So we decided not to make the mountain man breakfast on the river. But since this K2 cooler kept the ingredients absolutely cold, I mean, they're still icing this thing 72 hours later, I didn't want anything to go to waste, so I decided to go ahead and make the mountain man breakfast this morning. The mountain man breakfast is incredibly simple. You take a Dutch oven once you get your coals ready, and you brown about a pound of sausage. I use Jimmy Dean regular. If you like the spicy or the sage or some other variety, you're certainly welcome to do that, but it's about a pound of sausage. And you can put some onions and you can put some garlic in it. I didn't have those this morning. But I did put a red bell pepper and a green bell pepper in it. You brown that up. Once that's all browned up, then you pour in the potatoes. This is a 2-pound bag of frozen hash brown potatoes. If you're camping and maybe they've thawed out, you're going to want to drain them really well before you put them in the Dutch oven. You mix those up and you let them just long enough to warm up. Probably 4 or 5 minutes until those potatoes get warm. And then you scramble a dozen eggs, and you pour the eggs in on top of the mixture, and you let it sit in the Dutch oven for about 35 minutes. Now, I used 8 or 9, maybe 10 coals on the bottom and about 20 or 25 coals on the top. You let it sit for 35 minutes. After the 35 minutes is up, you pull the top off the Dutch oven, you sprinkle in some cheddar cheese or whatever cheese you got, put it all back together for another 5 minutes, and you end up with an unbelievably good breakfast, a hot breakfast. It'll feed a lot of people. That's the mountain man breakfast. It is so simple. I'll put all the ingredients and the recipe and everything in the description. It's a wonderful thing to make in a Dutch oven if you're camping. That mountain man breakfast sure is delicious. This time I used a little bit of Foxy G's salty smoke seasoning to get down in there and make it really good. Just kind of sprinkle it in there. There's a lot of salt in the cheese already, but I tell you what, this salty smoke makes it delicious. This is my friend George Fox. He lives down on Folly Beach, South Carolina. He's a musician, a free spirit, always has been. And I tell you, I love him for it. And he has come up with this line of seasonings, and we used when we made jambalaya on our raft trip, we used his rub seasoning there in the jambalaya, made it really good and smoky. And this seasoned salt, is made from his salty smoke. Absolutely fantastic. It's made on Folly Beach. I'll put a link down there so you can get you some. It's really good, and I highly recommend it.